with your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
Listen, I'm not sure if you're checking out the SDP VIP videos, but we dove deep on Kate Middleton, and as of this morning, there seems to be a flag waving at half-mast at Buckingham Palace.
What?
So the new theory is that King Charles might have died this weekend. That's the internet.
Are you
theory.
serious?
I'm serious.
That's awful.
Yeah, and people were like, well, it happened on St. Patrick's. Now, probably none of that's true, but the theories are just getting deeper. And then there was another report in the British tabloids, guys, that Kate Middleton was spotted at a farm, and they're like, we have verification, and then they didn't show a picture because they don't have one.
What? And if they did, it'd be Photoshopped.
Right. Anyway.
Is it fair to say I don't think someone's like death should be like a theory?
I don't think so.
Like I don't think that's a kind way to do news.
Now, how do you think it would go if you went on Twitter and said, hey guys, you stop this now. You stop this.
Oh, well. Can't do that.
No.
Let me tell you about attitudes towards the British monarchy.
Yeah.
They are quite poor.
But we had some other stuff that we talked about in SDP VIP, and it's a good time to remind you that you can sign up, and it's less than $1 a show. We give you 4 extra episodes a month, and they are completely off the rails. And especially if you've been listening to the show a long time, you'll remember that we kind of used to just do, like, the first hour would be hockey, and the next hour would be whatever.
Other stuff.
And then as things kind of grew, we had to do more hockey and less of the other stuff. So this is the other stuff. I want to start off today's show with a big shout out to Wayne Simmonds. Wayne is signing a 1-day contract with the Philadelphia Flyers on my birthday, April the 13th, to celebrate his career at the Wells Fargo Center.
I almost had a heart attack. I was like, it's your birthday?
No, not today.
Okay.
Not today. And I just think...
No.
I think this is really cool. So here's what he had to say. He said, it's hard to describe my emotions on a day like this, but one of my very first thoughts as I look back at my life in Philadelphia and playing for the Flyers is taking the ice in a Flyers sweater. It's a very special feeling, and it's one that I'm truly proud of. The history of this franchise, I hold it in the highest regards. I'd like to thank Keith Jones, Danny Briere for making this a special day and a special place. And so I think that's that's sort of a really nice capstone. However the rest of this goes for the Philadelphia Flyers this season, that is going to be something to look forward to. It's been a surprising year. The vibes are better. Torts is back.
Might be a really big game.
Might be a huge game.
Season might be on the line that night. Just looking at his hockey reference page, 584 games as a Flyer, 203 goals, 175 assists, 378 points, 784 penalty minutes. That's just as a Flyer.
That's a lot.
It's quite a bit, especially for this day and age. To have 1,313 career penalty minutes is wild.
There was a time when he was playing where he's the best power forward in the league.
Every team wanted him. 30 out of 30 wanted this player. He could score. He was pretty much money in the bank for 20-plus goals for a while there. He had 30-plus twice, and he could beat the brakes off of basically anyone in the league.
Yeah.
And hit, and he was just a menace.
He was also really good. I remember when I was working at Sick Kids as a admin assistant, I remember watching him play for Team Canada and how good he was for them in the
World
Championships. Yeah, like way back, and that's when they were like kids. So like tiny, we're the same age as Wayne, which is kind of crazy to think. We'd be retirement age too if we were good at sports.
And now they're retired.
Yeah.
Guys our age are retiring. I was just looking up show transactions. There it is. Do you remember the trade that brought him to Philly?
It was Mike Richards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the trade was traded by the LA Kings with a second-round pick in the 2012 draft, later traded to Dallas, ended up being Devin Shore, and Braden Shen to the Philadelphia Flyers.
And Braden Shen.
Wayne Simmonds and Braden Shen.
Wow.
And a sweetener were traded to the Flyers for Rob Bordson. I don't know.
Big Rob guy.
And Mike Richards. That's one of those deals where one team very clearly loses, but won the cup, so who cares?
Right. Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing about Wayne's career. The year he leaves the Kings, they win the cup the next year. He never gets that Stanley Cup.
I also think people forget how good Mike Richards was.
He was stupid good.
He just fell off a cliff towards the end, but when he was good, he was really good.
Yeah, but I don't know if he was the entire primes of Braden Shen and Wayne Simmonds.
Certainly not.
Certainly.
I think they were trading future wins for
100%.
current wins. Yeah,
100%. I think it worked out pretty well for both teams.
Very, very cool. I also want to do a couple more shout outs before we get into the disaster on Saturday night. A shout out to the University of New Brunswick. We were talking about and promoting the U18 men's, not U18, excuse me, the U Sports men's hockey here in Toronto. New Brunswick won every single game this year and won the championship.
30-0.
Dating back to last year, they are 47-0.
That's so dumb.
And TMU guys, I'm sorry, they finished fourth. Blew it in the last period against McGill.
Yeah, it was really an outside shot for anybody to win this tournament.
Except for
I thought maybe TMU could try and get in there, but once the semifinals happened, they had to go up against New Brunswick. It was not happening. That team was a complete wagon.
This is really important, and this is the one bit of reporting that I didn't see with regard to this team. New Brunswick has a goalie named Griffin Outhouse.
Great name.
I need to know with every fiber of my being what his nickname is.
Oh, man. That's a good question. Do you go with the first name or the last name to base it off of?
Ian Tulloch had a great one. Well, he's a hockey player, so it's probably something dumb like Griffs.
Or Audi.
How do you not call him Shitter? You got to call him Shitter.
I think so, maybe. That's a great name.
Shitter. It's like built-in best nickname in the sport.
I love that name. That's a good name.
And it's better when you're a winner. All you do is win, and your nickname is Shitter. Shitter. That's how you know he's a legend.
Jesse, what's up?
I think best stat of the tournament, they didn't allow a single goal. They won all 3 games of the tourney 15-0.
I wonder why. Because
they have the Shitter.
Griffin Outhouse, a.k.a. Shitter. No, that's unreal.
That's 3 straight shutouts for the Shitter.
See, I don't even know if he was the goalie in net.
I believe he was.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he's their starting goaltender.
Shitter got her done.
Lastly, it's PWHL trade deadline day. I just want to remind you that Toronto's in first.
Hey.
So,
No, it was Samuel Richard who was the starting goaltender for the 3 shutouts there.
Yeah. Sorry.
He ended the season, the Shitter, ended the season with 4 straight shutouts, I believe. But he's like the backup, and they let him play at the end of the season. He had 4 straight shutouts because the team's so good. And then Samuel Richard, through this tourney, had the 3 shutouts.
It's hard. It's hard with a team that's that stacked to kind of how good is how do you decide? Because I don't think they've got advanced stats at that level in the same way.
Sports, no.
So, how do you decide who's truly driving the bus? Is it the goaltending or is it the insane scoring that they have?
The old eye test.
Yeah, I think you'd have to.
Yep.
Anyway, good for them. That's
or someone with a pencil and notebook.
Well, I always wonder with teams like that, you're so good, are you even surprised that you win the championship? So I watched their celebration and it seemed like they were.
Yeah. it's back to back too. This last year, they're used to it.
But they were just as excited.
Yeah.
Okay, so per Stathletes, and Greg Wyshynski tweeted this out this morning. Here are your playoff odds, your odds to make the playoffs for teams that are not at 100%.
Okay.
So take teams like the Leafs and the Bruins and the Panthers out of this.
The Leafs are at 100%?
Yes, they are. Come on. So here's what it is in the East. Current odds to make the Stanley Cup. The Bolts at 97.6%.
That's pretty high.
The Caps at 57.3%.
Dude, they're so close.
It's crazy.
They're going to mess around.
Trade Kuznetsov, get better.
Honestly?
That's the strategy. And Edmondson, too.
Edmonton, yes. That one was more important.
Flyers at 55.7%.
Ooh.
Islanders at 51.2%.
Ooh.
You ready for this one? It's a steep drop. Who have we missed? Who have I not said so far?
Detroit, who I'm pretty sure is in a spot.
Guess the percentage.
37.
Jesse?
25.
Jesse's closer, 20.3%.
Oh!
The Penguins at 6.9%, the Devils at 6.2%, and the Sabres at 4.8%. Now,
Penguins fans, allow me. Nice.
In the West, the Predators at 96.7%. Thank you, Bono.
Wow.
The Kings at 89.8%, which I have to say at this point of the year can't be acceptable for the Kings. Vegas with all their injuries at 84.6%, and then a steep drop because there's less of a race, 13.6% for the Wild. Blues at 5.4%, Flames at 4.8%, and the Kraken still hanging in there at 1.2%.
Dude, in the Western Conference, I'm pushing all my chips into the Oilers.
Are you? I mean,
their path is so nice. Right? If the playoffs started today, they're going to play LA, and I think they kill them. I think they kill that hockey team.
Even in a conference with Colorado and Vegas?
The only teams I think I see beating Edmonton are Dallas or Colorado.
Not Vegas.
At this point, Vegas has to make the freaking playoffs.
I think they'll be fine.
I think they'll be fine as well. Vegas being in a wild card spot ruins everything.
Yeah.
Like it complicates everything. But there's a few really interesting matchups in the West. If I'm Edmonton, I'm like, well, Colorado and Dallas are going to have to play each other before
they play me.
And they can tear each other apart. That's cool.
And the Canucks are going to win, barring some crazy collapse. They're going to win the Pacific Division. They're up 8 points on the Oilers right now.
Right.
So if the Canucks, because it's the Canucks and Jets that could finish top of the conference, guys. If it's Canucks versus Vegas, who are you taking?
Oh,
Thatcher Demko is healthy in this scenario, by the way.
Two teams who are both playing their worst hockey of the season.
Yep.
Right now. A complete coin flip. I guess I would go with Vegas just because they won it last.
Jesse, who would you take?
Yeah, I'd lean slightly towards Vegas.
Okay.
The Demko injury throws a wrench into everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Who knows what his state's going to be at in like a week or two when they evaluate and
healthy,
they bring him back. Yeah.
Right? Like what's healthy?
Yeah.
Okay. Then I'm going to say Winnipeg, Vegas.
Oh,
Winnipeg, who have depth,
a good series,
who have great goaltending, great coaching. I mean, they are. Listen, they're not beating the world right now. The Avs are, but they're tied with the Avs with a game in hand.
People are too flippantly throwing around the F word when it comes to the Winnipeg Jets.
What's that?
Fraud.
Really?
Who's saying
not
Who's saying
me.
the Jets are fraud?
People have spoken to, and every time it raises my eyebrows. I don't know. I understand, because it's playoff time. We're getting into the playoff mindset, and we can't help but look back at last year's pitiful performance.
Sure.
This isn't the same team.
No, they didn't have Velarde and I know Velarde's out for a while with the enlarged spleen. Like, I don't know.
Oh, does he have that too?
Yeah.
It's dangerous, man. Like
I don't know how long he'll be out.
People don't get it because of Mark Stone and it's a fake injury or whatever. No, man, it's really serious. I'm telling you, I put my buddy out of hockey. It's dangerous. Like if it gets ruptured, like your career's in jeopardy.
Yeah, and then you also have guys like he scored 2 goals last night. Tyler Toffoli.
He's so good.
He's so good, and he was so good with Vancouver the last time they were really deep into the playoffs in 2020. Okay, so. Guys, Jets or Golden Knights? What would you take?
Oh, right now, I think it'd be disrespectful to say anything other than Jets.
Really?
They're not
Stanley Cup champions? Disrespectful? We're talking about the Golden Knights here. Jesse's laughing over there.
Your evaluation of the West is a little weird. Because
why?
Initially you started with the only people who can challenge Edmonton are Dallas and Colorado.
Yeah.
If you've taken a look at Dallas recently, Jake Ottinger is an 862 in his last 2 months. I think in the last 2 weeks he's like barely above 800.
Yeah.
So
if they can't get goaltending, who are they beating?
That series is actually going to be wild, I think. The Colorado versus Dallas one, because they both low-key have terrible goaltending.
Yes. Right now. So that's why I'm like, there's probably Winnipeg.
So maybe it's just Edmonton.
Winnipeg I'm taking above of Dallas right
Those
now
guys?
if we're ranking the West. And I think
There's an argument.
Winnipeg can beat anybody in the West.
Oh yeah,
They're the way they're designed is they can run 4 lines, and any team that's in a position to run 4 lines, I think it can confidently win 4 rounds of playoff series. And they have, I think, the best goaltender in the world right now. And if Hellebuck's hot going into the playoffs, they can easily beat anybody.
I'm surprised the MSM, the mainstream media, haven't made a bigger deal of. I think this is the best chance Canada has had to win a Stanley Cup in a very long time.
They got 3.5 good teams.
Well, yeah, you got
who knows about the Leafs?
3 teams in the West and the Leafs. So I'm not talking about the East necessarily.
West, yeah.
I mean, total wild card. But like Vancouver, I mean, out of the 3, they're probably the weakest right now just because of how they played recently. But like Edmonton gave Vegas a good run last year. They were in the conference final the year before. They could get into the final. Vancouver, if they return to form, get some goaltending out of Thatcher Demko, they could go to the final. The Winnipeg Jets, for a variety of reasons, could end up in the final. It's a really strong year for Canada, and I'm just surprised it's not being played up more.
Right.
I do want to say that the Jets, the Avs, and the Stars are all tied at 91 points this morning.
That's so fun.
The Jets have 67 games played. The Avs have 68. The Stars have 69. That's why they're
Nice!
with. So my question again, Jesse, Jets or Golden Knights? Who do you take in that first round series if they play each other?
Right now, I'll take the Jets.
Healthier.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Plus, like, I think it was who mentioned. I think it was Friedman mentioned how on Saturday's game they're scratching Nick Hague and Zach Whitecloud. Like Vegas is in a point right now in the point of the season where they still got to send messages to guys. You know, it's like we gotta scratch these guys and bring in the extra defensemen we have because we're not playing that well. So I that's concerning. So I'll take the Jets right at this moment.
They're going to play both those guys.
Yeah.
Nick Hague was such a pain in the ass for everyone last year. White Cloud is fascinating because he knows how to move the puck to both teams. I do like watching.
Turnover machine?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know about that. It's just like on Vegas, he sticks out a little bit more.
Yeah. So it's as much as there isn't like a race, the actual Stanley Cup playoffs in the West are going to be fascinating to watch. By the way, the Nashville Predators have 3 more points than the Los Angeles Kings. Who could have thought that that's how this season would have gone? Now, the Predators are in a wild card spot. They're in a different division. But isn't that wild? Just a
happened?
Crazy year in LA. Pierre-Luc Dubois has got to pick himself up off the floor.
The whole team. Like, I mean, that's...
I think
at
it
that
starts.
point,
I think it starts with the guy that their big acquisition, who's supposed to be the center of the center of their future at center.
I do agree, but like they were winning plenty of games when he was playing like ass earlier.
Yeah.
And
Here's the
that
thing:
all
is,
went away.
You can only cover for a guy for so long,
Yeah, maybe.
right? It's Tim Hortons' 60th anniversary. Steve's already told us that if he wins Roll Up the Rim this year, he's taking Jesse and I to San Diego.
Yes.
Can't wait. In his
favorite sunny destination.
Okay. Adam's been talking a lot of nonsense. and,
Okay.
like criticizing everything you do here, Steve.
I am aware.
it's just me.
I think it's fair to put Adam on the spot here. So, you win the $10,000 daily jackpot
Yes.
from Tim's Financial. What are you doing?
I'm taking us to the closest Hilton to a really nice Hilton in Mexico. Because we got to go to Hilton. That's one of the prize packs, right?
No, you don't. You can do anything with the money.
$10,000?
I mean, you're just getting the money
We're
here.
going to
Adam.
Mayakoba in Mexico. Great beaches for the 3 of us, and great golf courses. They do one of the PGA Opens there, and that's where I'm taking us. We're going to go. We're going to enjoy. We're going to sit on the beach. We're going to drink Mai Tais. We're going to get frustrated on the golf course with Jesse, who's really good at it, and me and Steve, who aren't. I'm going to
Selfish.
snap my clubs in half.
Selfish.
Why is that selfish?
You know what I'm doing?
What?
Giving it to Steve. $10,000. Here you go.
Well, and you know what I'm doing?
That's it.
I'm renting a car only big enough for Jesse and I, and we're driving just across the border to San Diego.
Tons of great prizes. It's the 60th anniversary for Tim Hortons, and roll up the rim to win. Sorry, I didn't roll my R. Can you do it? Can you help me?
Roll up the rim to win. Holy, what was
Give it. Help me out.
You said roll up.
Can you do it, please?
Roll up the rim to win.
Thank you. That only asked. I only asked 4 times for that. I did
it
it
twice.
It's like talking to Everly here. It's crazy.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, so I'm cute and adorable? Thanks.
Tim's 60th anniversary of Roll Up the Rim to Win is on now from now until March 31st. Time to get rolling. Rules apply. Canada only. No purchase necessary for contest entry. Visit the Tim apps for details. When was the last time that you guys went on an adventure?
An adventure?
An adventure that lasted too late into the evening.
Well, one time I went into the forest and I met this special goblin who gave me 3 wishes, but I woke up because it was a dream.
Jesse, what about you?
This one time I had to go to Mordor and find these rings.
Oh my God.
And then I was
Can't
on a long journey. My friend Frodo was there. I
was talking about-
Smeagol was like,
You need morning hydration to bring you up. You need liquid IV. Is what I'm trying to say.
No. It's,
What?
Read it again.
What?
It's Liquid the Fourth.
Oh, it's not liquid the fourth. It's liquid
not?
IV.
It's Liquid IV? I've been calling it Liquid the Fourth this whole time.
darn it.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
Listen.
I thought there were 3 liquids before it.
It's great for your daily workout when you feel run down, when you've had a long night out, when you've had a long flight. That's when you need liquid IV. And by the way, we all use it.
That's true. And maybe I need some right now.
And Maddie does too. Maddie's all the way in on liquid.
Yeah, when you got to go find those rings and throw them into a giant eyeball of fire, you need some liquid IV for your adventure.
It is non-GMO and free of gluten, dairy, or soy. There are 8 vitamins, no artificial sweeteners. However you hydrate, grab Liquid IV Hydration Multiplier. It's sugar-free, and you can get it in bulk nationwide at Costco, or 20% off on your first order when you go to liquidiv.com and use the code DANGLE, DANGLE at checkout. Again, that's 20% off your first order when you shop hydration today. Use that promo code DANGLE, DANGLE, at liquidiv.com. Now, I want to talk about the Toronto Maple Leafs.
You can only cover for so long.
Yeah, really. So Jesse and I were at the game, and it was a great game until it wasn't.
Yeah?
Right, Jess?
Oh, yeah. The ending there was just brutal.
Brutal.
Yeah. I want to talk about turning point of the game.
Would that be the... I'm curious to hear what your turning point is, because I have one.
I know what it's going to be.
Turning point of the game is, the Leafs had the lead, and then I discovered you guys were at the game.
Ah.
That was the first I had heard that you guys were going to the game.
Talk about what you decided to blame the loss on in the LFR.
The wave.
The wave.
The wave that you guys started.
Steve doesn't like when fans are at a sporting event and are enjoying themselves.
Nope.
Because that's the reason the team on the ice collapses.
Deliberately misunderstanding the point. Nope. The wave is fine. The wave is fine.
Only in the specific moments that Steve wants you to do the wave, though.
Jesse, do you like mustard?
I do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, next time there's birthday cake going around the office, I'm going to douse that birthday cake in mustard.
Yeah.
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 Would you enjoy that?
Probably not, no.
No?
No.
Hey, what's your problem with mustard?
Yeah.
Are you trying to tell me there's a time and a place for mustard?
I would say that the time and the place for the wave is at a sporting event.
No
matter
there's
what's happening.
4 minutes to go.
Don't do the
in
wave,
a
guys.
2-goal game. And they lost.
You sit there and pay attention. Put your hands on the bottom of your butt and just don't put them up.
I will always put
your
my hands on the bottom of my butt. I work on this butt every
on
day.
your ass and they're not in the air because they're going to lose if you're doing the wave, guys.
Do a double grab on that butt cheek.
It couldn't be the team on the ice collapse. It's your fault, fans in the arena, for cheering.
Yeah.
What is that?
Legit. Tell them again. Tell them the thing I said again.
This
That's
is why
what you said in the LFR, and I was just fucking gobsmacked.
Did you guys see how it ended?
The game?
Yes.
Yeah, they lost.
They lost
Because of the wave.
because of the wave.
Yeah.
And also
Could it be they're
completely
the
inadequate
worst-
net front defense.
They're the worst team in the world at the shootout on top of that.
Oh, they're so bad.
They were
Shooting.
5-1 heading into that.
they
Yeah, but I saw Matthews try to shoot that.
Oh, my
Dude.
God.
Oh,
What
Okay.
isn't he 0 for 8? No,
Stop.
Willie's 0 for 8.
Nylander's now 0 for 7. He
0
should
for
be
7.
banned.
Yeah.
Banned. He swagger, unreal, silky mitts. Can't do the shootout. Get him.
No. I didn't know they're 5-1. That doesn't.
I didn't know either.
That's shocking to me.
5-1 or 5-2.
They always feel like ass in the shootout.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is.
I feel like none of them know how to go on a breakaway.
No, they've had
Leafs in a one-timer situation, goal.
Yeah.
Leafs on a breakaway, forget
Can the
it.
shootout
except
be?
in that game.
I'd rather them just take a penalty.
You set up Matthews at the circle, and then you feed him a one-timer. That should be the shootout.
Like
That would be great.
yeah.
Like he could work it so that he'd like pass it to himself. He could.
Oh,
He could.
Like who's the one who had was it Kuznetsov who came up at 2 miles an hour?
Yes, and also I thought that should have been blown dead at the blue line.
You think so?
Yeah, he went backwards. I have no
little
problem with
bit,
him going slow. Yeah, you're not allowed to go a little bit.
They would have challenged it, I think, if it had gone in. But
it didn't go
once it stops the puck, it doesn't matter.
But it's the Waves' fault.
it is the Waves' fault. Here's
which is just weird.
here's the real turning point. And Jesse pointed this out, and he's like, "Oh, Adam, you hate this."
Oh yeah.
The real turning point is letting a
Mindset?
goal in with 3 seconds to go in the second period.
Mm-hmm.
That's the real turning point. You cannot go into the intermission letting a goal in the last minute. Now I understand it's going to happen, but this is the Carolina Hurricanes. You can't do that. You throw your body in front of that puck. The coverage was terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible coverage. And when you do that, 3-1 feels a hell of a lot different than 3-2.
Yeah.
And I know that Kampf came out and scored a goal.
It's a breakaway goal from David Kampf should be an automatic forfeiture of 2 points.
Yes. Yeah, he should not be on a breakaway, and he definitely shouldn't score.
Game's over.
Never should score.
Sorry, everyone.
But
We'll give you time to finish your snacks and everything you bought.
I got to tell you, that is, to me, that's the killer. That's where it starts because you've given them hope.
wasn't
This is
good.
the Carolina Hurricanes who are low event, high opportunity. They are exactly what the Florida Panthers did to the Leafs in the second round last year. We're not gonna allow that, but
Murder?
when we get an opportunity,
Oh.
well, not murder. They don't have the missile thing going on, but or the head-on-head thing. But the Florida Panthers were very opportunistic against the Leafs, and the Leafs are brilliant at playing really well and then brain farting for 5 minutes. Their brain farts per 60 on defense, especially since Morgan Riley has come back, have been brutal.
So this goal that you're talking about, it irks me so much going back in because we were there. So the next day, I got the Rogers Ignite package so I can go back to
I like
games and scan through it. And it was TJ Brody allows Seth Jarvis to get in behind him to pick up the rebound.
He had a really
It's-
good pass to Tavares. He's got to be scratched.
It's inexcusable when your role is to play defense and be net front and you allow a Hurricanes player to be like, it's not even close. It's not even like they're next to each other and they're battling. He just lost the net and
who's
Seth
that?
Jarvis just got in there.
Who's that, Edmondson?
Who's that? This is Brody.
The other defenseman.
I believe that's Edmonds.
Yeah, he's got a guy.
Yeah.
He knows what his, what,
Oh, yeah.
TJ, what's happening?
This is what I'm talking about. That is terrible coverage.
Do you not trust Buddy who has Gensel tied up? Do you not, what's happening?
Connor Dewar's in the right spot. If Aho breaks for the net, he can cover him off.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what TJ Brody's doing here.
Aho on a terrible angle as a left-handed shot.
This is where the shot comes from. It's a rebound and Jarvis is just hanging out. I went back even
nuts.
further and it's even worse. That's not come on, guys.
He has no idea.
The whole time he's hanging out.
This is why every friggin' year, GMs like Brad Treliving and coaches like Sheldon Keefe and every other damn coach in the league want big defensemen who don't move. Because what do they tell you when you get lost at the mall? Stay where you are.
Yeah. Just hang out.
And Brody goes store to store. No, it's no.
I don't understand. And I've said this. I said this last week, I think. I'm not, and I tweeted it or whatever. I can't even remember anymore. People are like, Simon Benoit's not that good. I don't know why you're so upset about it. Simon Benoit
Probably doesn't do that.
is reliable.
Yep.
And it's not that I'm not talking about Simon Benoit's skill level, his dangles, his whatever. What I like is his placement, where he sits, where he positions himself in the defensive zone. I like the fact that he throws hits. Believe me, I love that. But we talk about placement. The person who has been the worst on the Leafs blue line with defensive placement is TJ Brody. And it's not because I don't like TJ Brody. If you had asked me on September 1st how I felt about TJ Brody, I'd be like, he's the best thing they have on that blue line for boring. I want boring hockey from most defensemen. Morgan Rielly, I want it to be exciting.
He looks like he hates it. Like,
well, I think he needs. Let him sit.
He needs.
Give him a breather. This is a good defenseman.
Yes, at this point I think he's worn the hell out.
Mentally worn out sometimes too, right?
Yeah, man. And again, he set up a fantastic goal.
Great.
But that shit has to stop. It's what kills them.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably their number one Achilles heel is these net front goals, rebounds go in.
I'm gonna support your point on that.
Yeah?
Yeah. Jonas Siegel in his Monday morning report for The Athletic, he said the 2-goal advantage vanished in the final 1.5 minutes of the third period. So final 90 seconds.
Lovely.
The Leafs once led 3-0. That lead does not vanish if that goal that Jesse just showed does not go in. Yep. Doesn't happen. Mm-hmm. Jonas went into the annals, into the history. He said, turns out this has happened a lot. It's happened 9 times in 66 games. 9 times that the Leafs have given up the game-tying and or go-ahead goal in the last 5 minutes of regulation.
Wow.
9 times this season. The Leafs went on to win only 3 of those 9 games, and they lost 5 of them in regulation. And Jonas says that's the reason for the
in regulation
for the delta in points between where the Boston Bruins were, where the Florida Panthers are, and the Toronto Maple Leafs. Everything else is pretty much.
The Bruins have a staggering amount of OT losses. Imagine you buckle it down.
Imagine you just get to OT. Just get to OT.
Now, here, I do want to read this, and I've brought this up in a few places. The NHL, so I'm on some of their mailing lists for some reason.
Cool.
I'm surprised I haven't been kicked off of all of them. But every quarter, they send out this package of statistics. And every quarter, they have highlighted how many comebacks there are in this league. It's something they want, and it's something that they're excited about. The NHL is averaging 6.2 goals per game, with 42% of games ending as comeback wins. This will mark the 5th time over the last 6 seasons that the league has averaged over 6 goals per game at this stage of the campaign. So they're highlighting, hey, look, there's lots of goals. There's lots of goals. They're also highlighting there's no reason to turn an NHL game off.
Yes. And that's true.
So maybe the Stanley Cup champion is not the team that, is necessarily shooting the lights out. Because apparently everyone can do it. Everyone can do it now. That's what they're trying to highlight. Everyone's scoring goals. That's why they're going out and they're trying to get these preventers, right?
Yeah. You shall not pass.
You shall not pass. Now, it's flawed logic. We've seen it not work before plenty of times. But, with Brody, he had that great pass to Tavares. How many points does he even have this year? 15?
I can look that up.
It's not a lot.
You're not expecting that from TJ Brody.
Well, then what am I expecting?
You're expecting a defenseman that you do not notice. He has 18 assists this year.
I notice him all the fucking time.
No goals. Wow.
No goals. He's probably the smallest defender they have. Mm-hmm. Poor net front.
Is he really?
It's got to be.
He's 6'2", so he may not be.
Bullshit, he's 6'2".
Well, according to NHL.com, he's 6'2".
What?
Yeah.
I'll tell you in half a second.
No shot. No
defenseman
shot.
on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Gio's 6 foot. Liljegren's 6'1". McCabe's 6'1". Riley's 6'1". TJ Brody is not the smallest defenseman.
That's
He is
impossible. I don't believe it.
Well, maybe it's the style of.
Maybe it's the weight. He's 187, which is
Maybe that's
easily the smallest.
The smallest of anybody who's active. Klingberg is 185, so he is the least heavy.
Hockey DB
That's
has
what
him
you're thinking?
6'2", $187.
Yep, that's the official stats from the NHL.
All right. Well, he plays short.
Well, maybe he plays.
I'm just-
Maybe he plays light.
Yeah,
He plays light, man.
Maybe he's.
Well, and
that's okay.
it's one thing if you're in a puck battle, a body battle, battle for positioning, and you lose it. But
well, and
he doesn't know where his man is.
Bringing it back to Simon Benoit for a second, the thing that bothers me here is that you already have a partner for Jake McCabe,
Yes.
and it worked really well. And so we have Riley, and we have Riley Bush. That's working. You have Liljegren Edmondson. Who could have thought?
It's kind of, I like it.
It's working.
I like it.
You have one that basically was one of the two defense pairings that carried you through February when you were an absolute heater in McCabe Benoit. What are we doing with TJ Brodie here? And it doesn't mean he doesn't get back in. It doesn't mean he's off the team. It means that Simon Benoit should play some games, guys.
You need, what we've seen over the last couple months with the Leafs defense, I feel like just chemistry and whether or not it actually works is more important than a defenseman's individual skill set. Is TJ Brodie one of the top 6 Leafs defensemen in terms of skill? Of course he is. But it's not working, no matter who you put him with. I'd love to see the wowies with him, the with or without stats. Lyubushkin, Riley's fine. Edmondson, Liljegren's fine. McCabe, Benoit's fine. Brodie, McCabe, bad. Brodie, Riley, bad. Brodie, Liljegren was really good for like 5 games, and then it was bad.
Did they do Brodie Giordano at any point?
I probably.
And
I can almost guarantee it was bad.
That'd be a heart attack pairing.
Yeah, dude, I'm just, I'm over it. I'm over it. Like, for at least a few games, we got to see what life looks like without him.
I think there's like a strong unwillingness by Sheldon Keefe to scratch TJ
because he's
Brodie.
a vet.
Yeah.
And he's been reliable.
Yeah. And the money he makes too. You know, you don't scratch that dollar amount. That goes into it as long as we want to say who cares. That goes into it for them.
You're right.
We don't care.
You're right.
But that goes into it for them.
You're right. And maybe you have a guy whose confidence is down and you don't want to make it worse. But, you know, I look at a guy like Ilya Samsonov.
I was about to say.
Whose confidence was at, I think that's the worst confidence I've seen in an NHL player.
And I don't blame him for that.
No, it just happens. No.
Yeah, until you watch Jack Campbell highlights.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, that was bad. Yeah. But my point is they took him out of the lineup. They waived him to get him down, to give him 10 days to chill out. And he's come back and been spectacular. Really. And so, you know, I don't know, like, people are like, oh, Sam, he's still not sure. Like there was a bunch of articles today about who will be the starter come playoff, which is interesting because we talked about it on Friday. And, like, I don't know how you blame Sammy for any of those last 3 goals that went.
No. It shouldn't be a question right now. Like, the way we broke it down was one dude hasn't played and the other one has been fantastic.
Well, and Wool let in...
What conversation are you having?
Hasn't Wool let in, like, 10 goals in 3 games? Like, he's just not...
I still think
Wolf's
there yet. Going to be great.
Yeah, of course.
We're talking about a 6-on-4 like deflection goal. We're talking about that one with Brodie. Like, yeah, no, it's a friggin' it's a mess. It's absolutely awful.
Then not capitalizing on the OT power play.
Not capitalizing on the OT power play. That Kampf penalty on Orlov sucked.
That's not a playoff penalty.
Orlov,
sucked.
By the way, Orlov sold 2 really, really good penalties, and he drew them, and hats off to him. One thing I was wondering when Jesse and I were talking is, like, we know that the refs hate Brind'Amour. Yeah. We know that the refs hate Keefe. I wonder if they called it like Pee Wee for that reason. Because, man, there were some soft calls on both ends Saturday night. It was not that you would think with where those teams are, the refs would be like, we're putting the whistles away. This is a playoff.
We spent like 7 minutes on Friday talking about how historically they're on one of the craziest they're not getting any power play streaks unless it was 17 games. And you go into Saturday.
The Hurricanes.
And the Hurricanes are, and you go into Saturday and they get 2 just gift of a calls. It's crazy to watch. To see the NHL the way they bound about everything.
A lot of storylines come to a head in Toronto.
Now,
they very often do.
Weird how that happens, especially on a Saturday night. Now, Leafs power play in March. Can you guess? Do you know?
2%.
Not. It's
2.
It's not, but it's more like
12.
It's probably like 5%. One for 22 in March. They were 50% in February, and in their
close.
And in their last,
yeah. Wait a sec. Wait,
it's not 2%.
Hold on, what's the actual? What's
1 of 100 would be 1%.
Yeah. What?
Adam is 4.5%.
It's not the same.
That's
4 times 1%. That's 4 times.
I didn't say 1%.
That's double. Then it's double.
You said 2%.
The Leafs are
You're very close.
1 for 24 in their last 9 games. So
wait, 1 for 24?
That's even better.
No.
Hold on.
1 divided by... Oh, it's 4.1.
Actually, the other one was 5% because you have to round up. You can't have.
No, you don't.
Yeah, you
I'm
round
going
up.
to kick your ass.
No,
No.
you got to round up.
What?
My point is, it's been bad.
Yes.
And it was really good. And we know it's somewhere in the middle. The problem is that the playoffs are next month. Do you have faith, guys, that Guy Boucher is going to figure that out? Because here's what I saw.
Is he power play?
He's power play guy. Dean Chenoweth is penalty kill guy, which is weird. Because I always thought of Guy Boucher as a defensive guy.
Here, wait. I got a great idea to fix everything. Yeah. All right, there you go. You just switch them.
Well, I mean, again, the power play was really good when Morgan Riley was out. And it has nothing to do with Morgan Riley
Maddie,
being
do you
out.
like that or are you confused?
Meh.
Here, you just go.
He's trying to be
With
trying
the,
to say
with the
switch 'em.
hands.
Yeah.
I think it's a good way to show the example. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing that game where you put a ball under a cup and you try to guess which one the ball is under. Like, anyway, I used to be really good at that at summer camp. Yeah.
What, ball in a cup?
Yeah. The old guess what ball is
All
under.
the kids are
or
playing
what
it.
cup the ball is under.
Okay, so Leafs power play was 50% in February. It's now 4.5%.
Okay, 50's stupid the other way.
And that's bad. And I want to throw this at you. The Leafs penalty kill is now 24th of 32 teams.
They're horrible.
Without Marner and Yarncroke, they don't seem to be able to figure out who to put out there. They've taken Matthews off. They took Nylander off on Saturday. So I want to talk about special teams as a whole, but let's start with the power play. I didn't understand why you had Liljegren and Riley out there when Domi is sitting on the bench.
Because they're just flailing. They're completely just guessing.
Here's what I see. Max Domi, for all his warts, you're not expecting him to play defense on the power play, right? He is an elite passer, and he's got a lot of speed, and he's got great vision.
Well,
Mitch Marner, who they're missing, has all of those things, probably in greater quantities. Does Max Domi not make sense in Mitch Marner's spot on the first power play?
In terms of power play skill set, other than the handedness difference, Max Domi is the closest thing the Leafs have to that player. So I don't understand why he's not out there. Very odd. I don't get it. Max Domi's such a strange player. I really enjoy watching him,
Yeah, me too.
but he's really strange.
He's super entertaining to watch.
He's very entertaining in the same way that junior hockey is very entertaining.
But they need a little of that, I think.
Is Mitch Marner officially underrated? He
might be.
In his impact on the Leafs and how they've struggled without him.
Yes, because a lot of people think he's straight up bad, and that's wrong.
But we're seeing how helpful it is to have him as a Swiss Army knife in that he can play in every single situation in a hockey game, and they don't have that anymore, and other people have to learn how to fill in. Maybe it's because these other players aren't used to playing in those positions, and if they didn't have Mitch Marner, like he wasn't on the team, they'd be more used to it. But the fact that you take him away at this point in the season, it seems like they're really struggling.
Can I bring out Old Faithful?
What's that?
Here comes Old Faithful.
What's faithful?
You pay 4 guys all the money, one of them goes down, no one's there to replace them because you have no money.
I think that they do have guys there to replace them. I just don't think they did it.
Our Marner solution is Max Domi. Adam.
Steve, how many teams?
They're not the same.
What's Edmonton's solution when McDavid goes down or Draisaitl?
They're fucked.
It's Matthias Janmark or something like that.
Yes.
Connor Brown. This is my point. If a star player goes down, the idea that a team is going to just magically replace them, that I think is
there's 2 of them. That's the difference. There's 2 of them. The Leafs have 4 of these guys.
Well, I think they have 3.5 because I think if you saw Tavares' zone entries on Saturday, it's like he's
Okay, so that's
he's slowing
even
down.
worse.
He's slowing
It's even
down.
worse because he takes up the money as one of the 4. And to the point there about Tavares being in the group, he makes more money than Leon Draisaitl,
He does.
Fuck.
who makes $9.5
Okay,
million.
but when the contracts were signed, it was
8.5.
different.
Sorry, 8.5.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
I know.
So it's easier to build a roster, as Steve is saying, when there's only one of them who makes all the money.
Well, and this is we keep going over this, but it keeps being right. So I guess here we go again. You only get X amount of dollars to spend every offseason, and you need to hit on both. They threw the money at Klingberg. Swing and a miss. You can feel the air on that one. All right, but he goes on LTIR, so no harm, no foul. When Tyler Bertuzzi wasn't doing shit, it was kind of detrimental to the team. Now that he's an actual top 6 option, it's okay. But they didn't even have him out there on some of the power plays too. So it's all just a mess that I feel like the power play crawls into its shell every March. Didn't this happen in the Canadian division year?
I think so.
Yeah.
Like, what was the year where they were so clearly good, but their power play was literally 2%?
And I think that was when Manny Malhotra was running it.
Yeah, and everyone's like, "Oh, get him out of here!" And then Spencer Carberry comes in, does well with it, leaves immediately
because he's too good.
Yeah, and they bring someone else in, and they're bad again.
Yeah. The contract thing, it feels like patient zero with every kind of problem. You know, you could just boil it down to if you had more money, maybe you could have more options and you wouldn't be so reliant.
But the option's there. It's Max Domi, guys. Make the decision as a coach. Make the right call. And by the way, and don't give him short leash. Mitch Marner is out for however long he's out. Right? Yarncroke just got him put on LTIR this morning. He's not available till April. So we'll cover shorthanded in a second. If Max Domi doesn't work the first time, don't yank him. Try him. Keep going. Are you telling me? Hold on. Are you telling me that Timothy Liljegren, as much improved as he's been, I'll give him that. Are you telling me he's the better option?
Maybe it's.
Are you seriously telling me that?
Know. Maybe it's an olive branch. They're trying to build his confidence.
Stop it.
I don't.
Put him on power play 2. Until you can take power play 1 away from Morgan Riley, you're stapled to power play 2, and you're only there because you're the only defenseman back there who can move the puck outside of Morgan Riley.
With regard to Max Domi, I'm not a big equipment dude. Hey, this dude should be doing this with their equipment. You ever seen someone take a piece of sheet metal and go whoop, 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 whoop,
Yeah.
That's the sound Max Domi's stick makes.
What should he insulate it? What should he do about that?
He went for a one-timer, and I was like, why did you even think you could do that? Like, why did you even think that was a possibility? He can't with that.
Wasn't that on his offhand though?
No, I don't think so.
I thought it was.
I don't like that stick. Like, no wonder he looks like prime Gretzky in the shootout, except against Kochetkov, because it's slowed down. That stick has no power, none. Like, and it obviously allows him to sling around some of the nastiest passes in the league, but Mitch became such a more dangerous player when he realized, I can shoot. And his stick doesn't immediately bend and snap in half.
Well, Matt Martin called Mitch Marner and Nazem Kadri's shots back in the day muffins. Like they just kind of like, as in like, it's like throwing a muffin at a wall. Like they weren't.
Matt Martin said that?
Matt Martin said that. Yeah. That he's like, it was a bit of, I think the quote was, it's a bit of a muffin.
I don't remember that.
And that's like, he was joking, but like Mitch Marner did develop a really great shot. And I wish he'd use it more, honestly, when he's playing.
He's been using it this year. He's scoring in a variety of different ways.
Yes. So
Max Domi, by the way, uses an 82 Flex Vapor 1X Lite with a P92 curve.
we'd have to talk to Mike Stevens about what that even means.
Yeah.
Well, that's his stick. What do you mean?
I know, but like, what is that related to what? Like, I have nothing to measure that.
His flex is on the very low end. Like, if you're an adult, you probably want a flex in like the 100, 110 area, you know, and he's at 82. So it means he's swinging a lot of wristers.
That's a Bauer El Dente.
I like that.
Is what he's been using. That's a pasta joke, everybody.
No, because it's not quite a noodle.
I thought it was funny.
Not quite a noodle. It's a little bit hard on the inside. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, no, it drives me nuts when I see him play with it. Like there are times where he's set up and I'm like, there could be a one-timer here, but it's Max. And then last game he actually tried it and I'm like, oh, Max, that looked terrible.
He also's got like a wicked curve on it. Like, you know, Leon's like basically a paddleboard. He's working out there. Max Domi's got a pretty nasty curve on his stick too. So it probably doesn't help with the one-timers, but
it helps him be Max Domi. Like he's a good player. It's just it'd be great if they had that option. What jersey is he wearing in that photo?
Columbus.
Yeah.
Right?
Columbus jersey.
Weird.
Yeah. The first penalty kill unit for the Toronto Maple Leafs should be good. Should be better than what it's doing. David Kampf, Connor Dewar, TJ Brody, Jake McCabe. But Connor Dewar's figuring out the system.
I give him leash. There's been a couple that were sort of on him.
And he was a good penalty killer with Minnesota.
I like him at 5-on-5.
Me too.
I think he's a decent
he had
player.
some good opportunities.
Yeah.
TJ Brody there. And then the second penalty kill unit. I don't know. Pontus Holmberg to me is like it's like what it must be like for people who don't have 20/20 vision without their glasses on. I don't know what to make of him. Sometimes he's shooting one-handed and scoring and playing with Matthews, and it's crazy. And then other times I'm like, what's your role here? What do you do?
I understand 100% why Mitch Marner thinks he's the best player in the league. There are shifts where he looks like it. You're like, oh shit.
Yeah, like it's weird. And then there's Noah Gregor right now, who got in, and yeah, I think you're doing speed on that. And then Joel Edmondson and Morgan Riley. Don't love Morgan Riley killing penalties. Throwing that out there, but they're trying everything right now.
And that's okay. That's okay. I'm not going to hate it. I will say, for everyone who wants Benoit to get back into the lineup, the Leafs have nothing but back-to-backs this week.
Weird,
which is
right?
really rare. They play Tuesday, Wednesday, then Saturday, Sunday. There's that
Sunday game. Nice.
Sunday game.
Afternoon?
Sunday, 6 o'clock.
Ooh.
It's
I like an early Sunday game.
That's okay.
The
I'm with you, Jesse. I want afternoon.
I like if it's a Sunday,
They
I want
all-
like a 3 or a 1.
Yeah, but not
always
on
play like
back-to-back.
they
Yeah,
play
but
like shit on afternoon games though. I've
Yeah.
never seen the Leafs win an afternoon game. They're
They,
so bad.
Okay, you haven't been to the next generation games. How dare you?
Except for that, where they let in 8 goals but score 9.
So they got, oh my good Lord. So they got Philly, Washington, then a couple days off. Then it's going to be Edmonton. So you're going to be chasing them around all night. Then I don't understand how under the collective bargaining agreement this is okay. You have a game in Toronto, and then the next day you have a game in Raleigh at 6. Like not even a 24-hour turnaround.
Oh, that back-to-back is home and road.
It's home and road.
It's odd.
Sucks ass.
That's
Yeah.
great. I can't wait to see them play the Carolina Hurricanes.
Yeah.
on that
You
game.
saw them
odd.
blow it on
God.
home ice with rest.
Also, I brought this up last week, but the back-to-back or the consecutive weeks playing Philly in Philly.
Yeah, no, it's literally Philly, Carolina, a couple days off Philly.
In Philly. It's not like
Philly.
it's back home or anything.
I don't get it.
Why?
It's also I don't know. I'm kind of looking forward to that game. I think it's gonna be a bloodbath.
Yeah, but
I want Benoit playing in that.
The NHL's
shenanigans.
kind of just like pocketed, hey, this week you're going to play the Metro for 2 weeks. You know? So they get all the Metro games in there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been very indifferent on the schedule this year.
The Leafs have like how many games left in the season? 15. They have 4 back-to-backs.
Hey, we should mention that you're going to be doing streams, all 4 of them. The Saturdays.
Yes.
You should do
Edmonton-
back-to-back streams. You should have to stream with them.
Shit, no.
With travel.
With travel.
With travel.
Just like fly there and fly back.
Yeah. Hey, guys, I'm in Raleigh.
Do it outside the arena. Get mustard sprayed on my jersey. Edmonton on the 23rd. Buffalo on March 30th. Montreal on April 6th. And Detroit on April 13th.
Yeah, so there's a lot to figure out. At the end of the day, we could be having a completely different conversation about the Leafs right now. We could be having they
got a solid win.
They lost or they won 4-2. And so ultimately, everybody I talked to, because there were podcast listeners every once in a while that say hi when you're at the game, which is really cool. And I got a couple DMs from people who are like, I just didn't want to bother you and Jesse. And I'm like, just come say hi. Always say hi.
Can you imagine? If,
Please come say hi.
So here,
Would always love that.
You pretend to be a fan, and I'm watching a hockey game.
You guys got to say something.
Adam, that's
people.
your line.
Yeah, you guys.
Do I have to say something?
It doesn't make
me.
for good podcasting if it's just silent.
I was just staring at Steve awkwardly.
Yeah, that doesn't.
Oh, okay,
it doesn't
sorry, 'cause
really
that's
work
what I
for-
would do.
for podcasts.
Are you Steve Dangle?
Get the fuck away from me! Who the fuck do you think you are? Coming up to me at a fucking hockey game. Motherfucker, security. You know what? I'll do it my fucking self. Can you imagine? No, come say hi.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So yeah, we talk about all these things. They are problems. Leafs could have won. We'll see how it goes tomorrow against Philly. So you know what I think? Thank you for that, Steve, by the way. Thank you for that threatening gesture.
Get away from me.
Perfect time for the BetMGM big story. Jesse,
yes.
you have the picture of Mike Modano's statue, right?
I do.
I love statues of players because usually they're bad. This is a really good one.
That is a really good one.
Isn't that nice? They did a great job. He was in tears. They did the whole unveiling in Dallas. I don't know when they're going to do the Detroit statue unveiling for Mike Modano, but I'm sure it's coming.
Sitting on a bench.
20 seasons with the Dallas Stars, 1 season with the Red Wings.
Should have stayed.
Why?
Yes.
Why did all these guys do this?
The statue's going in the press box.
Yes.
That's tough.
Mike Modano is the highest scoring American-born player of all time. And I'm not talking about points. I'm talking about the stat that matters. It's goals. Okay? Now, a lot of you are going to go, but Brett Hull scored almost 200 more goals. Brett Hull was born in Canada and only played for Team USA because he was left off the Canadian national team when he was like 18. So Mike Modano is the highest-born American player to do that. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Currently sitting in 15th place behind Peter McNabb.
Who?
Peter McNabb, who had 363 goals.
He was the quarterback for the
Eagles.
the Phillies.
Yeah, that's right. Austin Matthews with 354. Does Austin Matthews pass Mike Modano?
Yes.
I'm surprised.
No hesitation.
This is so low.
I am too. I am too.
No, you're wrong. This is actually extraordinarily high. It's
Okay.
just Gretzky's insane
yeah.
and skews the stat. Only what's the number? I think 20 players have ever scored 600 or more goals.
Oh, okay.
We're talking about 500 or more.
Very few. Yeah, but look at that.
There's only 4 American-born players that have hit 500 goals. That's it.
Okay, I'm looking this up. I'm looking this up right now.
It's right here.
Joe Mullen, Jeremy Roenick, Keith Tkachuk, and Mike Modano are the top 4 American-born goal scorers of all time. Modano, Tkachuk, Roenick, Mullen. I'm surprised. Jeremy Roenick, I always forget, is a 500 goal scorer. That's insane.
Yes.
561, 538, 513, 502. And then Joe Pavelski comes in at 5th place at 473.
Joe Mullen never gets, I think, the credit he deserves for how good he was. I don't understand why. Cup winner in Calgary, 2-time Cup winner in Pittsburgh. Don't understand that.
He gets the love in the States.
Does he?
Yeah. He's much more of an American kind of hockey hero.
Adam, sorry. What's the math?
Math?
On the Austin Matthews thing? What's 561 minus how much?
He is, just give me a second. He is at 354.
354. Okay.
He has
Go ahead,
350 goals.
Yeah. Isn't that nuts?
That's so dumb. So actually, to your point, 47 players have scored 500 goals in their NHL career, and there's only 4 Americans.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty surprising.
Now, the one I want to point out is Pat LaFontaine, who got robbed because of injuries. He only played 865 games, and he had 468 goals. He currently sits 7th. Pat LaFontaine, we were robbed of Pat LaFontaine.
So 207 goals, or 208 goals, I guess, to own the record is all Austin Matthews needs. What year are we thinking he does this?
So what? It's 20 more.
And we're like guaranteeing he's going to be the greatest American-born goal scorer of all time in like 4 years.
So he does it during this contract. This next
100%.
contract.
That's what I was going to say.
And I say, and I would put money on this on BetMGM's website. All right, I would put $1,000 on this. He does it in 2028.
Oh,
he does it in 2028, and he does it in early 2028.
5 seasons.
Like you're talking about actual calendar year, not season, right?
I'm talking about what year.
I think he's money in the bank for on average 50 to 55 goals over the next few years. He might have one where he's got 40 and one where he's got 60, right? Because injuries, you got to account for that stuff. But I think in 4 years, absolutely. And in 4 years, he will be what, 30?
Yeah. Thereabouts. Yeah, 20. Yeah.
That's so 4 years of games is 328 games. This is excluding the rest of this year. 328 games. So he has to score 208 goals.
I think that's easy considering he scored 354 and 546.
So Matthews is 158th all time in goal scoring already.
Wow.
And
That's nuts.
What's wild about that is he's tied an active player who was drafted years before he was in Jeff Skinner.
Oh, well.
He tied Jeff Skinner. Dude, Jeff Skinner was
I know he
incredible.
scored a lot. I know.
And he's still pretty good. Friend of the podcast, Dennis Maruk. Matthews is only 2 goals behind him. He's also 2 goals behind Leaf legend Wilf Paymont, Vyacheslav Kozlov. He's going to enter the top 150 in all-time NHL goal scoring like within the week.
That's crazy.
He's so goofy.
Like imagine I always think about it like this. Like you if you look at if you were talking to a scout before a draft, okay, and I always think about this in overall stats points of view. If you had a guy that if you told a scout this player will have 992 points, and he's projected to go 5th overall, but you got the 1st overall pick. And I can tell you right now, this player will have 992 points.
Yeah, guaranteed. The other guy might have 1,500.
But this guy will have 992.
He might have 400.
The scout's taken the 992. That 992, by the way, is Phil Kessel.
Wow. Oh, he's so close.
Vancouver Canucks did everybody a disservice by not signing him. He needs 8 more points.
Sucks.
Yeah, he'll play again.
I assume they did enough scouting to know that he would have been helpful.
How could the first place Canucks? How can we trust them, Jesse?
I think they understood he probably wouldn't have been helpful for this playoff run.
We're all blaming the wrong team. You're telling me he's not one of the top 12 forwards on the Ducks? We're blaming the wrong team.
You're right. Don't send him back to Arizona. Don't do that to Phil.
He publicly did not enjoy his time in Arizona.
Yeah. So go to Anaheim.
At least he was honest about it.
Get 8 points and retire.
Can we end on trivia?
Yes, please.
The big story on some trivia. So Mike Modano had his jersey number retired with the statue. Can you name the other 5 players that have their number retired in Dallas Stars history?
Darian Hatcher.
Incorrect.
Neil Broughton.
Hey, there's one.
Minnesota North Stars legend.
You get 10 guesses.
You got to think about that team that went to the finals against Pittsburgh, right? Neil Broughton was a huge part of that.
That's a really good one.
Was Dino Cicerelli not a Minnesota?
Incorrect. That's 3 guesses.
Shit. Okay, then it's got to be the guys that won the cup.
Ed Belfour?
Incorrect. That's
Wow.
4 guesses.
Not Darian Hatcher. He was the captain.
Sergei Zubov?
That's correct.
Oh,
Okay.
God.
We're still alive.
Yuri Lettinen.
Correct.
Hey,
That's
wow.
6 guesses, and you got 2 more to go.
Okay, now can we refer on this one? Let's think about who won the cup.
Let's think about who won the cup. Jason Arnott won the cup.
Yeah, but he was
That's not my guess.
like they wouldn't have retired Brett Hull's jersey. He scored the cup-winning goal.
Joe Nieuwendyk?
You guys are going too modern.
Okay, so we got to go 80s.
You're going even earlier.
Earlier than the 80s?
Yeah.
I don't know a lot about North Stars history.
Exactly.
Brian Glynn?
You got to go.
Brian Glynn. Who the heck is Brian Glynn?
I had his
Is that
hockey
a
card.
relative of yours?
No, I looked it up to make sure.
Is Larry Murphy?
A star? No.
You got to
North
go.
Star.
You got to go way, way back.
Can I look up? Can I look
is
up stats
this a
or no?
Minnesota player or a Dallas player?
This player played for the. I'll give you the timeline. This player played for them from 1967 through 1976.
Oh man.
And the other player played for them from 1967 to 1968.
You suck.
1 year? Their first captain then. Has to be their first captain. But 1 year?
Wait. Oh.
And they retired his jersey. Something must have happened. That's weird.
I'm trying to think of the players that did. Okay, did one of the Bernies, Bernie Federico, Bernie Nichols? No,
I don't know North Stars history in the 70s.
I don't know.
I don't know, Jesse. Who are they?
67 North Stars.
You guys are done?
I barely even know the 67 Blues who made the finals.
The other 2 retired numbers are number 8, Bill Goldsworthy,
Would have never even heard that name before.
and number 19, Bill Masterton.
Oh, and I was like, 1 year, something must have happened. Yes, something did.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, you just moved that?
Wow.
There you go. So those are the retired
I
numbers
think that
in Dallas Stars history.
I think the Stars could do better with some of their retirements. I think that there's this.
Adam, which ones do you mean?
No,
and be very careful with your answer.
Add to the list is my point, not replace. Gary Lettinen makes sense. Zubov makes sense. Modano makes sense.
I'm shocked Hatcher's not.
How is Darian Hatcher not on that list?
There
has to be
6 names. Like, it's quite a bit.
Okay, let's look at the.
You gotta have a bar.
1998 Stanley, or no, 99, right? 1999.
Do Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin get their jersey numbers retired?
Together. And it's
2
Jamie
statues.
Benn cross-checking Tyler.
Yeah, I just gotta say.
That's the statue.
Daryl Sador is the guy I keep thinking about.
Oh, Daryl
He was
Sador.
really good for them. Anyway, well, that's the BetMGM big story because we're going long here. But damn,
I thought that was fun.
that was fun, Jesse. By the way, the Dallas Stars when they won the Cup had two goalies: Ed Belfour with a .919 save percentage and Manny Fernandez with a .920. That's good goaltending all the way to the Cup.
Close us up, Adam.
Closing it up.
No, do the little read.
Don't forget, it's the BetMGM big story, and go to betmgm.com/dangle for all the odds. Are you slapping me?
No, I was just trying to.
Okay. Well, I've got a BetMGM link with my name in it. I'm Steve Dangle.
Yeah, I liked when you said Dangle and the camera went to me.
You know, I noticed that CJ is in Florida for the GM meetings this week. You know what he brought with him? His Shady Rays, baby.
Ooh.
Because if you use that promo code SDP, you get 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses right now at shadyrays.com. Try the shades for yourself. They're rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Now, here's the thing about Shady Rays. You ever just sat on your sunglasses or lost them?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
With my bum.
Well, if you bum crushed your sunglasses.
Steve sits on his sunglasses like he sits on his hands when he's at a game, so he doesn't do the wave.
Yeah. There it is.
Always an inappropriate time to sit on your sunglasses.
Shady Rays, not only are they quality built to last, but if something is damaged, they'll cover it.
Mine just arrived.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
What style did you go with?
The aviator style.
Nice.
Hot.
You gotta go dad style with that, huh?
Oh, 100%.
Are you in your aviators era? Your Tom Cruise?
I absolutely am.
Okay,
And that way, like, it just enhances the dad stare.
Are you? Because here's the thing: like, you've got a daughter. Now you're gonna be like, you're kind of pinned to the house a little bit. What I always found with my kid when she was a baby is I could get outside, try to look as cool as I possibly could, ignoring the fact that I smelled like baby, which is often bad. Because they do things. Do you put your cool sunglasses on and go for a walk this summer around the neighborhood and be like, "What's up, ladies?"
I just feel like
Daddy's at
every
home.
time I put them on, I'm entering the danger zone. That's how I feel.
But you're not with Shady Rays because they're
That's right.
great. It's great quality. Again, go to shadyrays.com. Use the promo code SDP. 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses for you. Guys, I just have one more Leafs-related note. Did the Leafs sign the wrong Nylander this year?
Yeah. Well, I mean, one's scoring the same amount of goals, but they're cheaper. So
Alex Nylander has 8 goals and 11 points through 8 games since joining Columbus. When have we ever heard of a player going to Columbus and scoring more? Usually that's where points go to die.
Artemi Panarin.
Oh, okay.
That's the only one.
That's the only one.
That's the only one.
And I believe with Dubas,
Well done.
like Dubas in Pittsburgh, it wasn't good. Like it was like pointless.
Oh,
Nylander?
Yeah, I don't think it was good.
this was a good career move for Alex. Not because he went to Columbus.
Okay.
Because fringe fourth line players under Kyle Dubas, it's the equivalent of being injected with like about 5 doses of steroids. It's you're a god now. Congrats, you're a god.
Oh.
Are you the 14th forward on the Pittsburgh Penguins? Are you one of the better Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins? Congrats, you're just a superhero.
As soon as he trades you, though.
You can fly. Oh, yeah, no. It's the virus stays dormant in your system.
Until you're traded.
Until you're traded, and then and you just score 30 goals in your first 12 games with your new team. I'm Trevor Moore. I'm Alex Barabanov. I'm Sean Dursey. I'm Zach Hyman. I'm bloody everybody. Zach Hyman doesn't really count.
No.
But, you know.
I want to find his shooting percentage for his time in Columbus.
Got to be crazy.
80%.
But he did play 9 games last year with the Penguins. Before, pre-Dubas, he had 2 points, 1 goal, 1 assist. This year, 5 games, 0 points.
See?
You know what? It's not like crazy. It's 19.5%.
Oh,
And
that's
he had
not bad at all.
8 goals in 11 games?
Just
8
let-
goals in 12 games, 19.5% is the shooting percentage.
Let this guy
shots
shoot
does
that.
he have?
Let them.
Total shots attempted 63. Total shots on goal 41.
In 12? Wait.
41 shots on goal in 12.
Yo, he's shooting the lights out.
Holy crap.
Yo, let the man shoot. Just let him shoot. Let him do
Holy
stuff.
crap. That's a lot of shots on
3
goal.
divided by 12.
40, do 41 because that's shots on goal. Shots attempted is 63. Shots on goal is 41.
41 divided by 12. It's only 3.4 shots a game.
And he's scored at 9.
And he's playing.
Does Alex Nylander just have a piss missile?
He's playing top line with Gaudreau and Jenner.
Gosh darn.
The Blue Jackets.
He's
so weird.
He's also on the. He's also on the first power play unit. Underneath him in the same position is Trey Fix-Wolanski.
What?
Trey Fix-Wolanski. A guy you've definitely heard of.
Adam's not making this person up.
Yeah.
Is Daily
Trey
Faceoff
Fix-Wolanski.
fucking with us? Trey, Trey. His last name is Fix, like Fix Auto.
Yeah.
Fix hyphen Wolanski.
Mm-hmm.
Who is that?
It's Trey Fix-Wolanski.
Who is that besides the first person to score on the Leafs the next time these two play?
Has to be. And Cole Sillinger and Dmitry Voronkov.
Trey Fix, he's been on the Cleveland Monsters all season. He's got 6 games this year, 21 career NHL games.
Look at those points. Those are really good
7th round
points.
draft
Oh,
pick
shit.
of 2018, 24 years old, right winger, shoots right from Edmonton, Alberta. Trey Fix-Wolanski.
No.
Playing power play time in the show, and he's a 7th round
Good
pick.
for him.
Good for him. That's
Why was
awesome.
he a 7th round pick? Take a look at the height.
5'7".
There it is.
Yeah.
Man, 71 points in the A last year.
He's
Who gets that many points in the A?
He's
Somebody
also,
who plays a lot in the A.
Yeah.
He's not from Edmonton, Alberta. He's from Edmonton, Atlanta. I hate the way Hockey DB does that. It's Edmonton AB.
It's
What is this
or ALB.
ALTA shit?
Yeah.
Stop it. Wow. Yeah, Adam's right. 71 points in the A is actually nuts.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
And he's doing well again this year. Wow.
Good for him.
Good for friggin' him. He's got 2 NHL goals. Why don't I know this person?
I think it's
Fair
pretty
enough.
good.
No,
it's
Jesse's
fair.
right.
21 games. Is right.
I don't think you need to know everybody. I think it's okay you don't know Trey Fix-Wolanski.
Damn. You know what we haven't played in a long time? Who he played for.
Who he played for.
Oh,
That's
can
a
we
good
play that
name.
again? I'm
Yeah.
gonna play who he played for.
There's
play
no
for.
way I would have got Trey Fix-Wolanski. Not a shot.
No.
All right, following up from our Detroit chat on Friday, which was hilarious. The reaction to it was hilarious because you had a bunch of Detroit fans who were like, "Yeah,
We know. Well,
we know."
They weren't even like, well, that's not true. They were like, we know, you don't have to say it.
When you get that reaction, you're like, I'm talking to an educated fan base.
For years, I've said Detroit Red Wings fans are probably the most reasonable fan base in the NHL.
They have to be.
With regard to their own team's expectations.
Yes.
There's no August Stanley Cup. The Detroit Red Wings are expected
don't
to win
worry,
the June one.
I got one for you though.
Oh, yeah?
I got one of those, an August Stanley Cup tweet later.
Oh, no.
And it's a good one because it comes from the NHL. But the Detroit Red Wings won that game. That game versus the Sabres was a major game, and they won it.
Huge.
And they followed it up with a 6-3 loss to the Pens. And like, what did you tweet? Like midway through the second period, they had like 5 shots.
They were down. Yeah, they were down 3-1, which very quickly became 4-1. And they had 5 shots about halfway through the game.
Now you could say that they improved throughout the game because in the first period they allowed
think?
3 goals. In the second period, only 2. In the third, only 1.
Dude,
I think they got better.
They were horrible.
Since February 28th, the Detroit Red Wings are worse than the San Jose Sharks, Anaheim Ducks, New Jersey Devils, Vegas Golden Knights, Pittsburgh Penguins, Ottawa Senators, everybody you can name in the NHL because they have the least amount of points since February 28th. They are 1-8, and they have a giant total of 2 points on the board.
They've been outscored 19-43.
Absolute disaster when all you want to do is win a couple games and get into the playoffs.
What is it with James Reimer and teams driving off a cliff?
Man.
Alex Lyon is
I know.
an issue with the goaltender.
I'm not saying it's James's fault.
All right, James should be the third goaltender in this situation, but Ville Husso's out.
They've
and-
had 3 goalies this whole time.
yeah, and like Alex Lyon's playing like the Cinderella's glass slipper, like it hit midnight on Lyon.
Yeah.
just like
Man.
quick, and he's been just flailing.
Here's the deal. Reimer, even though he's 7-7, has a better save percentage than Husso or Lyon. And I know they're missing Husso, but Husso's not had them.
No,
not
but
like Husso's been crazy good.
Lyon had that stretch from like the fallish through the winter where he was unbelievable.
He was really
he was on fire, and it's if you look up the numbers recently in the last I think it's like month-ish, it's been a disaster.
Didn't he have a player of the week?
Yeah.
Yeah, like he was really good.
Oh man,
Dude, that's crazy. And like
Nobody's been worse than the Red Wings.
we've watched I've watched the Pittsburgh Penguins. That's some joyless hockey, dude.
Wouldn't it be crazy?
And they mopped the Red Wings.
Wouldn't it be crazy if the one team that gets it going here is the Penguins?
Yeah, it would be.
it'd be very hockey for that.
It'd be very Crosby.
Yeah.
Because the thing about this race, Steve, was it you who tweeted there should be 7 playoff teams this year?
No,
in the East.
I texted that in our
Oh, you texted, sorry.
And the East should have 7 playoff teams.
It's so true. Like the Islanders, Penguins, Red Wings, Capitals, who are going up, but they've been so bad. It's not like they're good.
In fantasy, a few days ago, I can't remember when, Islanders are playing the Sens, and it's basically a must-win game. So I loaded up, and they lost
On Islanders, yeah, and they lost. None of these teams want this playoff spot. No. It's a little embarrassing.
After you.
Yeah.
After you.
So it's a matter of like if any one of them catches fire, they get this playoff spot. And be funny if Crosby just wills the Pens to do it.
Yeah, it's the bottom. You look at the bottom of the Western playoff picture, and it's fucking Vegas. And
It's vicious. It's a fucking Nashville's playing unbelievable.
Yep.
It's Vegas, who has one of the most talented teams in the entire league, and then St. Louis is playing really well, like kind of ish recently. But they passed the Wild. The Wild, who are on a heater because Marc-Andre Fleury keeps standing on his head. And as soon as we had that conversation about them riding him, all he's done is start 3 straight games and have an unbelievable run. And then you go to the East,
and then you go to the East, and like someone said to me recently, they're like, "Oh, the Lightning might not even make it." Shut up!
No,
They've won 3 straight, and they're the Lightning. They're going to make it.
And the only reason we're not talking about the Flyers, who are not playing well either, is because they're the 3rd spot in the Metro and haven't fallen down to the wild card spot because no other team is going to hop up and take that spot.
Washington's right there. I feel like every time we do the show, the Eastern playoff picture looks completely different, and it features a team that has been clinically dead for 3 months.
Since October.
Yeah.
The Capitals have never been good this season.
No,
no,
they haven't.
At no stretch this season.
No, remember they started really hot because Charlie Lindgren decided, I'm God now.
How long was it? 5 games?
It wasn't long. It wasn't long, but they were there. They started hot. I remember that.
Even though, they had the 2 weeks where they were hot in late October. Since then, they've been garbage.
No, they've been very dead.
And look at them now. They could easily make the playoffs.
Because of Rasmus Sandin.
I don't know. Which squad are you guys like? If you had to put your money down on which one makes the playoffs here, who are you looking at?
I'm going Islanders. Even though they look human, I'm going Islanders because I want to see what they do in the playoffs.
The Capitals with the longest winning streak of the bunch, 2.
Look at all of those records of the last 10. Flyers 4-5-1 in their last 10, 2-game losing streak, -6 goal differential. The Red Wings 2-8 in their last 10.
That's unbelievable.
On a 1-game losing streak. Capitals 6-4, 2-game winning streak. Islanders 6-3, 1 loss. Pens 3-6-1, 1 win. -2 on the goal.
Hey, don't forget the 5-4-1 Sabres, Jesse.
Oh yeah, I left the Sabres out of this whole conversation, who are right there because they can just ride UPL to the playoffs. Maybe
the conversation ends at the Devils. Like, they could, in theory, have like a really hot end of the season and make it. They're friggin' below 500 at home right now.
It's ridiculous that there's 5 teams out of a playoff spot who could easily take that spot.
Oh, the Island. Oh my God. I tell you what, Rangers or Panthers better hope the Islanders don't make it. Look at their home record. The Islanders are actually below 500 at home because of overtime losses, but it's 15-8-10. You know what they don't have in the playoffs? 3-on-3 overtime. That team, I keep telling you, if they sneak in, they're just going to wet blanket whoever they play. And even if you sweep them, it's going to be the longest sweep of all time. You're going to go to 4 consecutive quadruple overtimes. Final shot, 17-16. It's going to be terrible.
So, Adam, you said you're picking the Islanders?
Yeah, I want them in because once they're in, scary.
Now, are you taking them to take a Metro spot and somebody else take the wild card spot and Philly falls out? Or are you taking them for the second wild card?
Okay, I'm gonna get bold here.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna get bold. I want the Flyers into the playoffs. I do. They haven't played great lately. So let's get bold. Caps, third in the Metro. Islanders, second wild card.
Oh.
Whoa.
That's a good one. Steve, what you got?
I have a better feeling about the Caps than I do the Islanders, but once the Islanders are in, guys.
Steve, what's your bold prediction?
Flyers still make it.
Okay.
They still make it. John Tortorella is going to come back into that lineup. He's going to go back onto that bench. They'll be fired out of a cannon. Oh, man. Islanders make it. Yeah.
Over the Red Wings?
Yeah.
And everybody else? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
There it is.
I'll give some love to our friends down the QEW. I'm going to say the Buffalo Sabres sneak into the second wild card spot.
Oh, it's so much ground.
They're going to do
lot of
it.
ground.
It's not that much.
Yeah, but like on top of the points that they have to make up, which isn't bad. It's 5. It's not great, but it's not bad. They got to be better than the Pens, the Islanders, the Capitals, and the Red Wings to do it.
They can be better than the Red Wings and the Pens for sure if the Red Wings just continue to play like shit. I think the Sabres are better than the Capitals, just generally. I think they've had injuries. And then the Islanders, I say dead heat. Both teams are strong at different things, and the Philadelphia Flyers are just not supposed to be here. It's house money. So like, who knows what the Flyers are?
Yeah.
I don't know what they are. I like they sold and they should have, and they're doing everything right in Philadelphia, but like if they don't make the playoffs, it's okay.
Hey, Danny, we've been in a playoff spot all year. That's great. We're selling.
Adam's prediction of the Caps taking that Flyers spot, I didn't even realize the Caps have 2 games in hand over the Flyers.
Oh, shit.
So if they just take their games in hand, they're
minus 30.
They're right there with a minus 30 goal differential.
Guys, they've got the best winning streak of all the teams we just mentioned.
I wish I could show you the face Matt he just made. Here, can I reenact it? Here, I'm going to reenact it. Here,
Here's what I want to see. I want to see Panthers Islanders first round.
Yep.
I don't want to see the beat up Tampa Bay Lightning taking on the Panthers. I want the Panthers and Islanders. I want Bobrovsky versus Sorokin or I want something crazy, and I want to see what happens when a missile hits a brick wall. Because that's how I look at the
usually the missile wins.
Usually.
Yeah.
But there are times. Or a cannonball. I look at the Panthers are like a cannonball. They're a projectile shot out of a cannon. They are.
Sure.
The Islanders are just hold.
Oh, as an impartial fan, I want that series to go 7
and tear each other apart.
5 overtimes each game, and both teams can barely stand in the handshake line.
Yeah, like their hands are shaking. By the way, did you see Bo Horvat's goal last night?
I saw both.
It was the first one's crazy.
Yeah,
crazy goal.
Just picked him up.
Oh, you did in fantasy, huh?
I was telling Jesse I'm in friggin' 6th place out of 8. I'm 3rd in points.
Adam,
tearing out my hair.
You want to hear how Mickey Mouse Steve's
Yes,
fantasy is?
always. I want to hear how Mickey Mouse. Steve's
All
fantasy
8
is.
teams make the playoffs.
What are you fighting
The
for?
regular season means nothing.
What are you fighting
It's
for?
a
Placement.
You don't need
Placement
to play the regular season. Your league doesn't make any sense.
I
When
don't
you
think
told, like,
doesn't make any sense.
I play in a 12-team league, and we've been doing it for years.
Oh, yeah?
6 teams make the playoffs.
Ooh.
The first 2 get a first-round bye, and then the 4 play out, and then you go the thing. Because the regular season is so long and grueling, and you add up all these counting stats.
How many games
It should matter. I'm talking about strictly fantasy.
How many games are there?
It should matter. 82 games.
There's so many games.
There's so many games. Your regular season should matter just for anything. And in Steve's league, what is it, the Dangle Navy Team League?
I don't even know what it's called. Dude.
It means literally nothing because you can come in last and you still make the playoffs.
Yeah, Dan Flashes is having a tough season.
At least make it a 6-team playoff. Like,
How dare you?
make coming in last mean something.
Well, I would be in the playoffs.
Okay, good. You would have earned it. You would have earned a playoff spot.
Dude, I can't believe that.
In this league, you did not earn it. It is just given to you, and that makes me so upset.
I was in a
makes me
league
upset.
where not every team makes the playoffs. It was our fantasy football league, and I didn't like it because I didn't make the playoffs.
And in that league, it was a 10-team league, and the top 8 made it.
What's amazing about you is like if you have Steve, like when Steve was doing $2 Steves all the time, you clean up at sports betting for hockey. You clean up.
I did so well.
You do so well. But you put him in a fantasy league, and this is like 4 years running. You can't figure it out. I don't understand how you're not number one with the amount of hockey you watch, with how much you know.
I am the king of like moving off a guy right before he gets hot. And then I'm like, I'm going to learn my lesson. And I hold, and I hold, and I hold, and I hold. And they're shit, and they're shit, and they're shit, and they're shit. And then I move off them, and they're unreal. Tim Stützle. Garbage. All year garbage. He's been terrible. I just moved off him, finally.
Did you have him all season?
All friggin'
like you
drafted him.
And you let him go on the waiver wire?
Yeah, because the playoffs are coming, and I'm like, I can't have a guy who's ranked like 80th who stinks. He's stunk. And I held, 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 and I moved off him, and he's God. I hate it.
That's embarrassing.
I know.
Speaking of the Stützle Senators, there is that rumor about Erik Karlsson going back to the Senators, and it's interesting because he said to Pittsburgh reporters, "Oh, that's just the Canadian media." I don't know. Whenever players say that, I'm like, "Are we big and scary to you? Like, is it that bad that you're rumored to go back to the Senators?"
They're clueless.
Josh Yohe, who is a Pittsburgh Penguins reporter for The Athletic, said this. He did a joint article with Ian Mendez about it. He said the goal for the Penguins, and this is something Dubas has stated publicly, is to get younger and to do so as quickly as possible. So the Penguins wouldn't want any veterans in such a deal should it happen. A good prospect, sure. High draft pick, you bet. Maybe one of each. But the fact of the matter is San Jose didn't get as much for Karlsson as many believed would be the case. It's a buyer's market, and that's certainly what we saw during the most recent NHL trade deadline period. Now, the Senators are rumored to want a really good pro. We know that Karlsson and Alfredsson have a really, really good relationship, and Karlsson has a lot of respect for Alfredsson. And part of the reason I think that things went south in Ottawa is Alfredsson just wasn't involved in the team anymore.
I don't think he would have ever left. I think if it was up to him, he would have never left.
I agree. Now, there also were rumors on the way out of town, and we should be honest about this, that like Erik Karlsson had too much control of the team. Like if he said there were things publicly stated at the time that were like, if he didn't want to practice something, they didn't practice it. Like at that point.
But they were good.
So what are you going to argue with?
Yeah.
Do you think a reunion would make sense based on what the Senators are purported to be looking for, which is a, quote, good pro?
What's their, like...
Because you think the Senators are going to lose Chychrun.
I know
he's not going to be there forever.
I know this is exhausting to hear, and it's like the laziest narrative ever. But like I haven't been able to get it out of my head since Jason York brought it up. Like they're so young up the middle. I hate when a rebuilding team, and usually rebuilding teams are at the bottom when this is the case. When your coach or someone on the bench or someone in management is the face of the team. It's almost always a recipe for disaster. And for the Leafs, it was Babcock. Babcock is the face of this team, and they had no culture outside of it, basically. What's the Sens' identity? Like, I don't. Is it who's the resident old guy in the room? Claude Giroux?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, outside of him,
Kachuk? Old guy?
No.
Old guy, 26 or whatever he is.
Like, it ain't Kachuk. It's not Chychrun, who's known nothing but losing throughout his career because he was with the Coyotes.
Mm-hmm.
They had that one like bubble series. I don't even know if he was in it. Like, you need these guys. Like, I didn't love the idea of the Sens going out and getting older necessarily, or remember they were rumored to be buying at the deadline.
Yeah, or they might sign 10 of this offseason. That's
like the more I've thought about it, I'm like, I still look at the Sens and I go, why are you bad? Like, why are they this bad?
Okay, let me read you a quote because I think this is important. Rod Brind'Amour told Claire Hanna that he saw Ottawa as a team that could win it all at the beginning of the season. Doesn't know why it hasn't worked out. Now, I think we know why it hasn't worked out, which is
they could win it all, Rod.
I think Rod was being a little nice. I also think that Eunice Corposalo is not the guy.
Also, you know what that reads like? You know that episode of The Simpsons? This is one of our favorite cities. We love playing in Springfield.
Right.
Like, oh yeah, I love my favorite team, the Senators. Well, what? You thought they could win it all, Rod? I think he's just playing the hits.
Yeah.
And then they went out and slapped them 7-2, by the way.
Yeah, I think that's somebody being nice.
That's someone being nice.
Yeah, I don't need to beat up on this team.
Yeah.
I'll just do it on the ice, I guess.
I would, imagine a coach just goes, yeah, man, they're shit.
That would never happen.
What was the expectation from like the question? You know, he's gonna compliment them.
Rod Brind'Amour, he's never said a bad thing.
I think
Sort of shakes his head when he's dismayed.
I think that like it's clear that they do have. I don't disagree now. The more they think of it, about bringing in a good pro, I just wonder if Karlsson's the guy. Even though he went to the conference finals with them,
He makes $10 million friggin' dollars.
well, you'd have to. The Penguins are stuck with some retention there. They have to be.
I think Kyle Dubas would rather set his hair on fire. I don't,
know why they made that move, man.
dude. If you're, who are they owned by again? Fenway?
Fenway Sports and Entertainment.
Don't you get to ask that question every day you live and breathe? Why did you do this? And why are you moving off of him already? He just got there. It took less than a full season of Erik Karlsson being a Penguin for us to talk about.
Okay, if we're talking about that particular thing, what if they moved off Chris Letang? Karlsson's younger.
That would make some sense. Is he?
Pretty sure, yeah.
Damn. Ooh. Well, I mean,
Because not because Chris Letang is
last year.
yeah, because Chris Letang's 36. I think Karlsson's like 33.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so bleak.
I agree that Ottawa needs to get a little older. If you look at their roster, they have a single skater over the age of 28 on their roster, and that's Claude Giroux.
Wow.
Are you serious?
Everybody else is 28 or younger. And like the 28-year-old vets that we're talking about are Artem Zub and Dominique Kubalik. But if you the core of this team, we've talked about this.
Kubalik, who they're trying to fire out of a cannon.
We've talked about this for months. When the core of your team is Tim Stützle, 22, Brady Tkachuk, 24, Drake Batherson, 25, Thomas Chabot, who's 27, a little on the older end, but Jake Sanderson's 21. Even like Bernard Docker, who's going to be a future of this team because he looks good, is 23.
Who was on waivers.
You know, who was on waivers and they lost him, then got back. That was Docker, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Anyways.
Oh, yeah. They lost him to the Ducks. I forgot about that.
When the entire core of your team is 25 and younger, you got to have people who know how to win the NHL to win in the NHL. Eventually, experience comes into play here, and they don't have
in
it.
the NHL, for God's sake.
Yeah,
Like,
just be pros, and they don't have that.
their core of talent is fine,
Of course.
I think.
I think they need a new goaltender. I don't know how they move off of the Corposalo's deal. And yeah, I don't have a problem with them getting older either. I think, well, I know Tana's up. Is Pesci up? Who was up?
I think he is. That's why he appears in every rumor.
Right.
Well, and but is this really a thing that they're going to be able to solve in free agency? Because here we are in friggin' Canada and no one wants to sign here on any of them.
Is the move trading like a Drake Batherson for pieces? Like, is that a better move than trying to sign? Because one thing about free agency is it's always expensive, and it's like a lot. You don't get the best deals in free agency.
So let me throw one at you. I don't mind Drake Batherson, Jesse. I also don't mind if you know you've got Jake Trouba, who apparently wants to go anyway. If you
Trouba?
Not Trouba, excuse me, Chikrin.
Oh,
why did I looked at him?
Whoa!
I looked at him and I saw Jacob, and then I was like, oh, I know, idiot. Anyway. Chikrin apparently wants to go anyway. That's a valuable piece.
Yeah. No, I move off that.
You can do that.
I move off that. I don't think like if any team was poised for a quick-ish turnaround, like I'd bet on them.
Would you move? And here's an interesting one, because Jake Sanderson is slowly taking over the blue line.
Of course.
Do you move off of Thomas Chabot? He's only got 24 points this year. He has had some injuries.
Yes,
a lot of injuries, but he's only played 39 games this year. Guy's usually good for more than half a point a game on defense. Lots of teams looking for offense from their defense. $8 million for the next 4 years.
You're trading him at the bottom of his value. Get him a good offseason. I think he's fine. I'd move off of Chicken. I'm not moving off of both. Not in one offseason. No way.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
Interesting.
I'd keep him.
Moving on. Rod Brind'Amour is waiting on an extension with
Oh my God.
Carolina.
How
again.
often are we going to do this?
And
It's the repeat episode.
And you know how repeat it is? He won't sign the contract until he knows that his assistants are taken care of. That means getting a raise and getting a contract extension. So
right,
Rod is going head-to-head with Tom Dundon again.
Yeah.
My question to the two of you is, Tom Dundon is a famously tough negotiator. So Rod has to go to war for not only himself, but his coaching staff every single time his contract comes up. If Rod Brind'Amour, for some reason, does not resign, now, I would say that very likely that he does. Mm-hmm. Does he become the most sought-after coach since Mike Babcock? Like Mike Babcock off of Detroit. Like, we're talking about like a free agent frenzy for a coach.
This is an oft-forgotten about frenzy, but like when Joel Quenneville was available,
That's true.
everyone wanted him, and then he lasted, what, one game or whatever?
7 or 8 games, I think.
It wasn't a lot.
With the Panthers.
In Florida. Biggest since one of those two.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely biggest since one of those two. I mean, Rod the Bod's unreal coach. I really like him. I can't imagine how big of favorites for the Stanley Cup the Hurricanes would be if they had goaltending.
Mm-hmm.
Great coach, man. And his players seem like they would die for him. I imagine his assistants would do the same. It'd be interesting if he brought his assistants with him.
Sure.
I mean, they're
all up at the same time.
I mean, that's one of the negotiation tactics you have if you're a member of that Carolina Hurricanes staff, is you're going to have to replace all of them.
Yeah. And I think they do that on purpose because that's the only way that they're able to. And I'm looking at this, okay? So you're looking at teams that are in the playoffs and you're looking at teams that want to be. You got to count the Pittsburgh Penguins out. They couldn't go after him because Mike Sullivan is signed beyond 2 years. I think his extension kicks in this summer.
Oh, man.
The Islanders have made their replacement at coach. Spencer Carberry's done a good job with the Washington Capitals. I think you guys didn't think so, but I think Derek Lalonde's job is questionable in Detroit if they don't make the playoffs. I wonder about in the Western Conference. Do you not look at it if you're St. Louis, if you're Minnesota? I know Calgary just made their coaching change, but it's Rod Brind'Amour. To the Seattle Kraken because of the Brind'Amour-Ron Francis connection, right?
Well, here's what I'm trying to figure out. He has roots there.
Oh, he loves it there.
And they're thick. Like, he's been with the Hurricanes since the 99-2000 season. Just traded there by the Flyers. He went to Clotten of the Swiss League during the lockout. That was the only time he left. He retired in 2010. He was an assistant coach by 2011 with the team. And he's been there ever since. So, like, you look at his other connections throughout the league. He knows this guy. He knows that guy. Oh, he played in Philly. He played in St. Louis. He might have the deepest roots in this market of any coach in the league. Maybe, well, I was going to say Trotz, but he's not the coach anymore, right? So,
and Trotz left for a while.
I think it ends with him staying there, and I think it ends.
But I'm talking. I think so too. But I'm talking about if he doesn't. Like, let's be Toronto about this.
Maybe Torts retires, and that's where Brind'Amour goes after.
Maybe because he was a Flyer for a while. I'm talking about this offseason.
This offseason, oh man.
If you're the Leafs,
yeah.
How do you not?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you unload the dump truck of money. He's a local too, isn't he? Oh no, he's not. Ottawa. But I feel like, didn't he grow up in the GTA-ish?
I don't know.
He was born in Ottawa, but I swear someone showed me like a school photo of him once.
Like, I'm looking at the Rangers have their coaching situation sorted. Philly's good. Panthers are good. Bruins are good. Lightning are good. I think if there is a coach that you would put out there in guaranteed playoff teams, the Toronto Maple Leafs, if that guy becomes available, I wouldn't be shocked.
That sales pitch is you announce a $5 million renovation to the gym. and you just shine everything up real nice.
24/7 gym access.
Yeah, you put his like face on all the plates and just line the whole gym with photos of him playing shirtless frisbee at BMO Field.
I like that.
Hell yeah. And you just go, Rod, one day all this could be yours. And he just shows up with the bod. Rod with the bod. He'll never be Rod sans bod.
No.
No.
And last thing, unless you guys have anything more on Rod Brind'Amour, Jesse, do you have anything more?
If we're being honest about the situation, we play the same tape from last time and this gets all sorted out.
Yes.
I think this is how the negotiations always go. This is how it went last time. He wants the money for the assistants. He wants his fair contract. And in a couple months or a few weeks or something, we'll hear about a new contract extension.
He's also 53 years old, which in NHL head coach years is 28.
I also want one last thing I want to add to that. Isn't it funny, guys? Don't you think it's funny that Rod Brind'Amour's contract situation happens to come up on a Saturday night in Toronto when Carolina's in town? And it seems to be one of the lead stories on headlines with Elliot Friedman. Is that weird?
Center of the universe, baby.
How could that? Why does that happen? Weird.
Always is, always will be.
Steve, I'm going to say something really quick.
Okay.
And then we're going. Are you ready?
Okay.
We're going to the press conference right after this.
Okay.
According to Elliot Friedman,
Is this breaking news?
the auction of the land that the Coyotes are supposed to buy won't happen till June. It won't happen till June. And it's the same timeline as they were talking about last year. And they said if they don't win this auction, the relocation's off the table. That's it.
All right.
Not going to happen till June.
All right.
All right.
The Presser. SDP. The Steve Dangle Press Conference.
All right, I'm back.
They got to win the auction, though. They got to win it. Remember, it's an auction. Sorry. Go ahead, Jesse.
Turbo Turbs 94. What does Steve hate more, Wes McCauley or the Wave?
Oh, Wes McCauley. Because the wave is fun sometimes.
By the way, this is nothing against Wes McCauley personally.
Yes, it is.
It's not against Wes McCauley. I'm sure he's a nice
Oh,
guy.
no, I guess it's professional. He's bad at his job.
Okay, there you go. Okay.
He seems like a great time.
Yeah, you can think that.
Yeah, he's bad at his job, but he seems like a good guy.
All good?
Yeah.
Do you have any more digs at Wes McCauley?
No, my complaint with him is pretty simple.
All right. I think we wrapped there.
Oh, you want to wrap there?
We've gone long.
That's it? Oh, have we gone long?
gone
Oh, we
long.
have. Okay, we'll find. We'll find then.
Is it because we took like 20 minutes with the big story?
Yeah. I think the Dallas Stars trivia was a lot of fun.
I enjoyed that
segment, Steve. I think you should not criticize things that many people enjoyed. Like the Wave!
No. Bad.
Fire the extra, Jesse.
Bad.
No, the Wave's awful. Adam?
The wave is fine. Stop putting words in my mouth. The wave is fine.
No, there you go.
It's just bad with 4 minutes to go. And look, you can't even do it right.
Maddie, go to the big one so you can see us through the wave.
Yeah,
there you
Maddie.
go.
Maddie's a wave hater.
Maddie, are you a Wave hater?
She's a wave hater.
Wave hater!
No, boo, Maddie.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Connection complete.